Welcome back, everyone. My name is Emily Gear. I am a multidimensional channel. I am a transformative energy healer and a twin flame healer. And I am here to do your weekly twin flame message. And this week, we are going to look into how you will be affected by the new moon in Sagittarius coming up in just a few days, and also how we will be affected by Jupiter entering the sign of Capricorn a few days later. Okay, so we're going to look at a few things. I want to briefly thank all of you guys who continue to like and share and subscribe to my channel, and comment also, because it does help others to find me. And I know that I have been much less active on my YouTube channel than I have been in the past for a combination of reasons. And I just have to kind of surrender to the flow of the universe and know that it will change when it's supposed to change. But for now, this is what I can offer you for today. And there will be an extended reading, so that's good news. I will put the link to that in the info box below, and you can rent or buy that over on Vimeo. I also wanted to briefly mention, as I always do, my website, which is where you can go to set up a private session with me. Also on my website are recorded readings that you can order for a slightly lower cost, and I email those to you. So those I've also gotten great reviews on. Definitely check those out. They are on the website as well. So that's what we'll be doing today. Without further ado, let's go ahead and switch over and get to the reading. So we always start out with the overall energy of the twins. And, excuse me, I'm going to go ahead with this deck for that today. I have to admit, I've been a little out there, so I can't guarantee that I won't be a little out there for this reading today. But that's okay, because sometimes I connect better into the channeled energies when I'm not as four on the floor, if you know what I mean. So, all right, so let's just ask Source and the Lords of the Records for some guidance on the energies of the new moon in Sagittarius that will be affecting the twins collectively, overall, in general. How will the new moon in Sagittarius, coming up, I believe, on the 28th, at least in my area, affect the twins overall, please? Okay. So what I'm getting here is a couple things. I do feel an energy of direction and also of release still. I mean, release is always an active energy kind of for us. It's always important to continue to release, to continue to heal. So I'm just going to show you the 4 cards all together, and then we'll get into the messages that are just organically coming through right now. The first one is all tied up. The second one is Archangel Gabriel, the 5th chakra, which is the throat chakra. Then strategy. Then broken heart. Okay. There is some energy of grief coming through here, and I can attest that I have been sifting through a little bit of that. And I think that this is an opportunity. What I'm really feeling here is that this is giving you a really unique opportunity to release that painful energy wherever it is that you're holding it in your body, whether it is really grief for you or it is some other kind of pain. I feel like it's time to essentially strategize on letting that go and making that choice and decision, because it has kept you tied up. For a lot of you with this fifth chakra here, it may come down to either literally saying it out loud to someone, to yourself, or to God. Always to God. There's no reason ever to leave that one out, right? To source energy, however you want to talk about that energy. But I think there's a decision made here, a really important one, where you say to yourself, I am not willing to continue to live holding on to this energy anymore, because it is very heavy. It is holding you back. It is, and while you may have been releasing this over and over again, it's different parts of it. You know what I mean? Like, we can only release what we're ready to release at that time. And we're only ready to do what we are in alignment with at that time. And so for some people, for most people, it can be some kind of incremental changes, some slow going. And this is an alignment to, it's like a super highway, they just said, a super highway. It's an alignment to straight into divine, the heart of divine source is what they just said. So it's like an incredibly powerful, supportive energy to change the game, is what they just said. Change the way that you are framing your experience. Okay, this is both for masculine and feminine. And by that, I feel this like sense of no longer expecting the disappointments, the things that have kept you tied up in the past, no longer expecting the pain and disappointments that you have maybe experienced at times in the past. I feel like with the fifth chakra, there's really something important here about making it real, making it solid, giving it life somehow through speaking it, through the connection to, it's like making this release part of your highest truth. I am no longer willing, I will not live in this energy of despair one more day. And for me, that has come down to trying to create a new habit, right? When things happen, or things that things that may habitually upset you, right? And you're used to playing out a certain energetic signature, a certain emotional signature. And at some point, you need to interrupt that with something new. And so for me, it comes down to creating a new habit where if something happens, then I'm going to do something else. And that's something I spent this weekend talking with people about, talking about with myself, talking about with Source. And so I have a plan for myself. Exactly. Strategy. That just came out. I have a plan for myself. So make a plan for yourself about how you're going to literally surrender into this moon with these sorry about that, guys. I had to take care of something. So what I was trying to say is surrendering this into the new moon. Whatever your rituals are, if you have them. If not, then just talk to God. That's all you really need to do. That's what you're doing through your rituals. No matter like what your intention might be. Maybe you are very earth-based, like earth magic type stuff. You're just talking into the universe and adding your energy toward the divine superhighway, right? To allow things to become real in the physical world. And that's what I want you to be able to do. And that is manifesting your truth in a really important way, which is what we do when the sun is in the sign of Sagittarius. This is a new beginning of some sort. It's almost like once you make this really, this is a commitment. What you're doing is you're committing to changing your life right now, and you're committing to a strategy, to steps that you will follow to make that real. And I'm just going to pull a few cards for how this energy is affecting the twins as Jupiter goes into Capricorn, because that's what keeps popping in my mind. And I just, this is an example of how ego can get involved, because I was just questioning myself on that. I didn't know if I was bringing that in, and I pulled a card out and it was trustworthy guidance. So I feel like that is like, hello, Emily, settle down. Yes, please look at that right now. So we're going to do that. Okay, so how will the energy of Jupiter, oh, okay, by the way, I was wrong when I said the 28th. I believe it's the 26th in my area that this new moon occurs. But in either case, that's something you can easily look up online, and I need to learn to be more prepared and make sure that I'm looking those things up before I go and record. But in any case, I'm pretty certain that Jupiter enters Capricorn on December 3rd. So how is this going to affect the twins? Yeah. Want to come out? Okay. Keep shuffling. Okay. So the first card that came out was the Magician in the Mirror, then Community, Angel of Balance, Sixth Chakra, Archangel Metatron. I feel like these particular astrological event, I mean, they're all connected, right? But I feel like there is sort of like, you know, when you're playing basketball and one person will set up a shot and then the other person takes the shot. I feel a little bit of that kind of energy here, where it's like you're setting up your shot here with the new moon. And then there's some kind of commanding movement forward as Capricorn, or as Jupiter drops itself into this very, they're saying practical, but the feeling that I'm getting is not just practical. It's something like capable, very physical manifestation capable energy in its higher form. Right? Because it can become very stagnant in a sort of lower form, but in the higher form, this is getting shit done. With all of the energy that we've pulled through this whole year, Jupiter's pulled through this whole year in Sagittarius, all of this claiming of the truth and paring away of the lies and the things that are not truly you. You know how we've talked all year about aligning with your highest truth. That is literally what we have done all year. And I almost want to put, I know to different astrologers, Jupiter can represent a lot of different things, but to me, it's coming down to like being like the heart of your divine self is kind of how it feels to me right now. And the Magician, for some reason I want to put these two cards together. In some way, it's like you're just really making music in your physical life right now, and you are somehow connecting with a bridge your spiritual life. I don't have the knowledge, the astrological knowledge, to connect that back to the planets in any way, but I'm just telling you what I'm feeling. That's how I always do it. I never know what I'm talking about. There is a definite building of the foundation of what you're creating this year in the physical world. That's what's coming through here. This community card also often looks like the Three of Cups, which can be community, of course. And I think that's the major message here. I don't want to go into like third-party crap, because that can be A, very specific, and B, not all that uplifting or helpful. But I do feel like if that's the case, if there is another person in the mix, that a lot of truth is going to, there's going to be a balancing and a lot of truth coming out about that there is a, here's these next two cards, Angel of Balance, actually, which I just said, and Archangel Metatron with the sixth chakra, that there is a knowing and an understanding about the truth of that situation, whatever it is. I'm not telling you what your situational truth is. You may be the odd man out in a triangle, or maybe not, you know. There are just a million different situations out there. But I do feel like for each individual, that truth becomes apparent on some level, and that the energies begin to kind of fall into place, that there is less resistance in this way. There's the pyramids in the background, and this is a card of balance. And something about the pyramids, it's always about balance, stability, and for me, spirituality. And I think there is this sudden flip of the mindset to understand where your balance and stability and alignment are. The pyramids are aligned to the stars in a really unbelievable way, almost. And that's sort of so that goes back to wanting to have strategized through the next week or so about how you are going to surrender the expectations of disappointment or hurt or sadness or any of that kind of stuff, or even just surrendering past, you might not know where it's coming from, but past grief, past hurt, past sadness, so that this can clearly lay its foundations soon. Now, you might not see the results of that quickly, but that is the energy that's coming in that they're showing me. And so this can affect any part of your life, not just like if you have three people in a situation in some way, or waiting for somebody's quote unquote karmic situation to fall to the wayside. But this is about really creating from a clear mirror, and doing that not only in the on the etheric plane, but also in the physical world. And that being the energy that's kind of coming in potentially for the next year, although it will be refined and shifted according to other energies coming in. So expect a balancing. Expect to be aligned to truth and to know it on a more intuitive, and yet conscious level. Expect foundations. That's just what I keep hearing. Expect foundations. But remove the emotion from that. Any like expectation of negative stuff. I feel like there was some little caveat I wanted to add, and I can't remember what that might have been. Work your magic. Work your magic. So this is definitely a time of magic. And that is, they're pointing me back to where they showed me the highway to the heart of the divine. In some ways, I feel like that relates to the space where we have been this week already with Jupiter and Venus conjunct the galactic center, right? The heart, the highway to the heart of the divine with the galactic center. If any of you have felt a heart, I actually had a massive heart clearing the other day. If any of you have felt that, it's related. Okay, all right, let's move on because I spent a lot of time there. How will, now we're going to move on to the divine masculine. How will this new moon in Sagittarius affect the divine masculine? Oops, I have an upside down card in here. Ugh, worst. Okay. How will this new moon in Sagittarius affect the divine masculine? In general. May or may not relate to your own. Should relate in some way. Holy shit. Okie doke. And oh, these cards are in all directions. I don't read reversals, guys, so you'll see me flipping these around. At least in general, I don't. The first card out was the Tower. Wow. Okay. So we've got the Tower with the Five of Pentacles with the Two of Cups. I'm actually reading this as sort of a crack in the, what's the word I want? It's not disassociation, it's in the, basically separation. A crack in the, help. Your isolation is sort of dissolving, is what I'm hearing. Because actually they're pointing back to the that dang Jupiter with Venus and the galactic center dissolving some kind of barrier that had been in that heart space. It was a plug-in to the divine heart. A plug-in. Now, that might have created a whole lot of chaos, or it's about to, maybe the energy was there and then it needs time to sort of filter down into the physical world. It might have created a certain amount of chaos, but this feels like a breaking open of the ways in which he has isolated himself from his divine counterpart or complement or twin, however you want to talk about it, and from himself, from his own inner truth. And that was part of what I was just talking about, is that necessity to really be clear about that truth at this time. I feel like there is some kind of, we can get more cards, but I feel like there is some kind of, it almost feels, well, surprise connection that could be made. Now, I do not want to create expectations. It's absolutely, totally possible that this is on the energetic plane. I don't want to say, your person's going to contact you or something like that, but it's almost more of an awakening feeling. Like if they didn't it does feel like a consciousness breaking open as well as a heart breaking open. It's their divine consciousness within them is really kind of emerging in a way that is new, okay? Because that's typically what I want to find out through my readings, is what is new. So this would be on another level. This card, focus upon your strengths, Apollo. Very sun energy, very Sagittarian energy, very heart of the divine type energy. Here, it's just that fire energy, I guess, is what I'm tapping into. And also that their strength is in their connection to source and to themselves and to their counterpart in that sort of trinity. And I feel like they discover that in a more clear way, or have been, or something falls into place here, is kind of what I'm feeling. With the breaking open, something falls into place. Some truth is understood. Some previous challenge is no longer such a challenge. It's like there's a shift in the mind space. There's either, it may come into balance, or it may just completely break open. There is a big change. They're saying to me that this is the combination, this is the combined energy of the new moon with the ingress into Capricorn. But let's get a little more info about the energy for Jupiter entering Capricorn. Okay, Six of Pentacles. So that makes some sense. I did just say a balancing. But this is also, first of all, it's progress from the 5, okay? And it shows understanding of where your energy is being given, where the masculine is giving his energy, and his understanding of like, okay, how do I need to change this to be more, to feel better at the end of the day, to feel better? How do I need to change this to be more in alignment? Where are my strengths? Where are my weaknesses? Where am I throwing my energy into a black hole? And where am I really investing well? Okay. We've also got the Hanged Man and the Hermit and the Ace of Cups. Hanged Man, Hermit, Ace of Cups. This to me feels like really deep inner strength that is a new commitment to self-love, to doing the things, to investing their energy wisely, to investing themselves wisely, where they have been squandering, trying to, in many cases, trying to like hold on to things that aren't good for them, and this is not everything that they're doing. They are doing some things right, but my readings always pick up on what we need to do to heal, right? So, and this is a greater commitment to doing the right thing for themselves, to being in alignment with that truth, which is amazing. And it comes after this cracking open of the heart and sort of getting on that divine superhighway, you know, whether they're consciously aware of that or not. It's better if they are. But if they are not, they are still getting these glimpses that are coming through in their quiet space where they're understanding and making this recommitment to themselves. This feels like a commitment to themselves. I am worth this. I am worthy. I posted something this weekend that was, I am fundamentally worthy, and you are, and they are. They don't need to keep a job or have a job that makes a certain amount of money or keep their parents happy, or keep a marriage, together, or live in a certain part of town, or any of that stuff to be worthy. I think what I actually said in my post was, it doesn't matter who looks up to you, who looks down on you, what you have, what you do. None of that matters. You're fundamentally worthy. And that's something that is, I don't want to say it's completely new to them, but I think it's coming in on another channel, on this sort of divine channel, so that it gives them the strength to push forward into this more physical manifestation of where they are going and what they are creating in their lives. And that is that connection to the divine, which is completely is necessary to be able to make these other connections, right? So this is a really important step for them. And that's not to say they've had no connection to the divine, but we always go through these things incrementally, and it is not any different for them. Okay, so let's move on to the divine feminine. How will, okay. How will the new moon in Sagittarius affect the divine feminine? The first cards out are the Lovers and the Queen of Cups. So this is a really deep, emotional, I'm getting emotionally healing moon. I don't feel like it's necessarily going to be challenging. Okay, so we've also got the Two of Wands and the Six of Pentacles as well. So the Lovers with the Queen of Cups. And the Two of Wands with the Six of Pentacles. This is a very similar energy. I just want to say, like, on some level, it's maybe a little softer. It's maybe a little more on the emotional level as opposed to like on the truth, sort of aligning with the truth level. But there is this sense here of not... I want to say creating from a place of balance, but there's also this sense of like not accepting anymore the emotional disruptions we are creating for ourselves. So if you are feeling worthless in some situation or not good enough, in what way is that simply your perception? I mean, it is simply your perception. You are fundamentally worthy, right? And how then do we balance this imbalance in the emotional space so that we are investing our energy properly and not throwing it into the black hole of self-deprecation or misery or depression or whatever? And that's not to say all of us sitting here are like clinically depressed or anything, but there are certainly ways that you are throwing your energy into a black hole. Let's say this. Let's say you are really worried about what your counterpart is doing, how they're feeling, if they care, if they notice you. That is a total black hole. Don't throw your energy in there. It will only make this take longer. I am just telling you from experience. And of course, everyone's experience is different, but there are a few things that are kind of common to the Divine Complement Twin Flame Collective. And that is one of those things that it is about the divine and the self-love bringing us into a union space so that we can pull in this on the physical plane, which is always the last one to kind of consent to the change, if that makes sense. It is creating the unity consciousness on all levels, and that begins and can only begin with you, because you cannot be anything that you are not, and you cannot experience the world outside of everything that you experience is from the lens of yourself. And so that is the place where it must begin. So all that aside, that being a tangent, there is a strong energy of choosing, and it is an emotional choosing of which emotions you're going to invest in moving forward. And while the Lovers can echo the Two of Wands in the choosing energy, I do feel that this is directly related to your counterpart and the energy between you, and how it will shift that energy when you can genuinely let go of trying to throw all of your energy into that bucket. You have to genuinely do that, and you can't do it with the intention of manipulating the connection. You have to genuinely do it out of love and respect and a desire for the balance within yourself. Because everything is energy, and intention is energy, and your intention matters. So that's, one of the places that we can really get hung up, because it can, we can think we are going through the actions, the right steps, but when our intention, when our energy is not aligned with it, we are not going to come into balance. Okay. What is the divine? Okay, so how will Jupiter entering Capricorn on the 3rd affect the divine feminine? They're saying that energy is already sort of coming in, so it's not like it's going to be necessarily a sudden shift, but how will that energy affect the divine feminine? Clarify this, please. Okay. 9 of Cups was the first one out, then the Devil. 2 of Swords and the Knight of Cups. My first impression is I'm not feeling this like a karmic attachment or tie, although it could be. But what I'm actually feeling like is that it's almost like there's a little bit of a gift of things appearing in the physical world for you. For me, sometimes the Devil can be like the animal world, the physical world, right? I mean, the Devil also represents Capricorn, which is all about those physical manifestations, right? And the 9 of Cups here making me feel like that there's almost like a gift of some of the desires that you are that you have had. Now, these are not desires that are like desires where you have an attachment. These are things that are aligned with you, that you have been trying to create in your life, and they might be very mundane. I'm getting this very mundane feeling, but what they want to say is, listen, you're on the right track, you're on the right path, it's working. And those will be some of those little markers to say, it's working, keep going. I'm almost also getting like the feeling of relax and enjoy yourself. It goes back to a little bit about those mental patterns that we've kept that have been causing us to invest our emotions maybe out, inappropriately. So let's bring in some energy of relaxation and of joy and of community and of sharing and of just having fun to help lift like the energy. That there is okay, so I wasn't sure where these cards were going to go, but I did just look again at the 2 of Swords with the Knight of Cups, and it's almost like there might be this little pause so that you can do this. Some of you might be getting some sort of affairs in order, like maybe changing something in your house, changing something at work. You might even be like getting ready to start to look for a new job, something. And so this sort of divine connection might feel like it's on a little bit of a hold in order for you to sort of bring these things into your world. And these are things that are emotionally satisfying for you, okay? This is not something you're doing, planning for your person, although it is certainly all intermingled. But I want to bring the focus back to the self here, and kind of I don't want to just say gratification of the self, but it's almost like a having a little me time or something like that. Like it's going to manifest for different people in different ways. So I think that is going to be important for you around December 3rd, around the time. This is some of the energy that ingress is bringing into your world. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that wants to come out here. You might get a break in, there might be a change in like the way that the counterparts communicate, a positive change I'm feeling, in ways that it's been quiet for a long time, there's been no discussion, and then suddenly it comes in. That's totally valid and something that I am feeling, even though I try to read it from the broadest perspective. But that may happen for some of you. I don't want any of you to expect it, because when we get our brains involved, we start to push and pull the energies in ways that can sabotage us. The way to avoid the sabotage, they're saying, is to make sure that you are doing for yourself right now, that you are taking time to enjoy yourself, to kind of imbibe in the physical world, whether that's getting together with family and friends, eating food you like, I don't know, just doing stuff that you like. This doesn't say, like go have a massive orgy and like, whatever. It's not really pushing. I don't feel that it's pushing that far, even though that's just not the feeling I'm getting. If you want to push it that far, then I would say this is cautionary, because you don't want to hurt yourself in that way, disalign yourself. You know what I mean? That's not a moral judgment on you. It's about what is in alignment with you. And anything that is not respecting who we are at our core is never going to be in true alignment with us. So yeah, so that's how I'm feeling. Okay. All right, so let's move on. What does the divine masculine, what is he needing to work on right now? What does the divine masculine need to work on right now? So this is a little bit outside of the astrological questions, but this is in the light of that new moon, and also the movement of Jupiter into Capricorn. What does divine masculine need to work on? His fear. Okay. So we have the moon with the 10 of Swords, the fear of ending difficult situations, things that are not serving him, and Temperance. There are some dark places that he may have been going in his mental space, and it might have thrown him out of a lot of alignment. And I feel like this is not a new energy. I feel like this could go all the way back to the summer, even to the spring for some of them. But the thing is, it's been playing out for a while, and it has put them in this emotional space where they keep playing these feelings out now, okay? it's almost like what I was talking about with the feminine, where you begin to expect a certain kind of disappointment or hurt or pain. And so it has created that kind of expectation of hurt or pain or struggle. They don't want to feel that, so they fear that. And in making really profound changes in their lives, they are not sure if they're stepping into that energy again. There's a fear about making the changes in their lives. They can't quite see past the massive pain that they are holding. And that's why it's so important for the overall energy that we talked about to create this strategy to take step by step to get through that pain, because that is holding you back. What's necessary is obviously this temperance, this kind of internal alchemy, right? And this affects the twin also. This affects the feminine half, because it's a blending of the energy. So this to me tells me he needs to employ his own internal feminine energy, which is also his counterpart. At least that's my opinion, and how I've experienced it, so that he can be supported to move past this pain. And that comes down to the sort of energy of the compassion for self that I was talking about, because that is the energy that's going to help him make a decision to move past what he continues to wound himself with, or allow himself to be wounded with. Okay? Even if you are upset with your counterpart and you feel like they're making decisions to hurt you, if they are truly your counterpart, I do not believe that they are doing that. I believe they are making decisions out of their fear and out of the desire to avoid pain. But because they may not understand the full picture, they don't always get that the not deciding to move out of the pain is staying in the pain. So all of us need to make that decision to move out of the pain. All of us have that masculine half and are going to need to employ this energy. Okay? All right, let's look at what the feminine needs to work on right now in light of the wow, similar energy in light of the new moon and the move of Jupiter into Capricorn. So what just came out for the feminine is the Knight of Swords with the Eight of Cups. And to me, it's like, just do it already. Just do it. Whatever it is, just do it. You've got to stop sitting on your ass thinking about it. All right? And I know this might be a little bit tough love there, but stop wallowing. Okay? We all wallow sometimes, and that's fine. And maybe you're not wallowing. Maybe you're just letting the energies move through. That's a totally different thing. And if it's all about the intention that you set, that I intend to, feel this emotion to the point that it is in my highest and best good, and then I intend to completely discard it, and then strategize what are your steps to getting rid of it, because it's different for everybody. I can't really just tell you what to do. I made a plan for myself, but it is time to move on from that. There is an active part of this. It's not like the energies are just going to do it for you. We need to both choose it, and in this case, actively do something, okay? So that's important here. See if I want to get some more. Let's do a little more collective energy, because I'm not using my usual list of questions, which is why I'm kind of bumbling around today. Collectively, what gifts can the twins expect from these alignments? Let's just put it that way. Collectively, what gifts can the twins expect from these alignments? The sun. That's amazing. Collectively, what gifts can the twins expect from these alignments? Seventh chakra, Archangel Uriel. This is the central sun. Whatever happened, I mean, that conjunction, I think, was exact yesterday, the 24th, depending on when you're watching this, but 24th of November. I think, again, I don't know anything. You can expect a heightened, clarified, and intensified connection with your higher self, with your own truth, with divine source creator. And this is what you want. You do not want to block this. The feeling of this, and you might feel it, the feeling of this is utter bliss. This is a higher consciousness that is being allowed. We are always allowed to choose this, but it is very available to you to choose at this time. And it will never go away if you choose it. You might dip down into, discomfort and move through different healing phases. You will move through that as we continue. But this is that alignment with source that is so necessary. We already talked about how important that is, how that is like the central theme of, or one of the central themes of the twin flame journey, if not the central theme, because everything cascades down from source. That is a huge fucking gift. Like, I remember thinking of the energy of this conjunction with the galactic center as being a gift. This is that gift. I keep getting this myself. So I'm just going to share this because I just pulled this out. Spend more time outdoors. Thank you for motivating me to spend more time outdoors and for helping me relax and enjoy connecting with nature. It is cold as hell where I am. If it is not cold, spend more time outdoors. If it is cold and you're comfortable spending more time outdoors, I think that would be really good. I think it's a good balance to this energy, which is probably kind of ungrounding. It's very blissful. It's like a little bit ungrounding. So grounding yourself in nature and in the physical world is going to be important to keeping that balance up, okay? To keeping yourself, they're actually saying too that this is going to help with, like, if you've been having any issues with like emotional stability or emotional, frustrations, this helps because number one, there's a natural clearing that happens in nature. They're showing me. They're almost like showing me the particles in your aura being filtered by like trees, almost like trees absorb carbon dioxide and create oxygen, and then we absorb oxygen and create carbon dioxide. It's a little bit like that, but they do that with your energy field as well. The trees are really important. But there's also something about grounding, and there's also something about disconnecting from your drama, whatever that is. And nature is like sort of the antithesis of that, because there is, I don't want to say there's no drama in nature. We've all seen National Geographic, but like there's just a natural order to nature where there is no reason to engage in drama. You can relax and know that you are supported in every way. Okay, this is the second time I've gotten this card in this reading, sort of. Your inner guidance is real and trustworthy. Please help me to clearly hear, see, feel, and know the divine guidance that I have asked and prayed for. Allow me to keep my ego out of the way so your wisdom can come streaming through me for my own benefit and for those around me. This is another reason why the outdoors is important, because it is quieting. It quiets the mind. It's also grounding, and it also moves your energy around. It clarifies your energy field. You can receive your messages, your intuition, many of you know this, much, much clearer when you're in nature. It doesn't mean that's the only way you can get it, but it can really assist you, especially if you're having trouble with that, okay? I'm going to pick one more card and then we're going to wrap it up for now. There will be an extended reading, of course, going back to my regular questions. Okay, this is important too. Admit the truth to yourself and act accordingly. I appreciate your support in helping me face my feelings with grace and acceptance so that I can be lovingly honest with myself and others. Thank you, Archangel Michael, for giving me courage and strength. So this is right on track with all the other messages we've been getting for both counterparts today, compliments, about being really honest with yourself about where you are putting your energy. And it really feels like there is an honesty there already, but honestly making then the changes in how you're directing your emotional energy or how you're directing your outward physical energy, and what effect that is really having on you, and making sure that you are making a commitment with yourself to be in alignment, to align, to balance, to support yourself so that you can then be the full expression of who you are. Okay. All right. I'm going to wrap it there for now. Check out the link below for the extended. We'll get into some more specific details about what's going on in the individuals' lives and what they're thinking about, that kind of stuff. Just looking at my questions because, of course, I can't remember what's even on the list, even though I've done this reading 100 times. Anyway, so I will see you over there. If not, just reminding you, here's my website where you can schedule a private Zoom reading or energy healing session with me, or you can order one of the online emailed readings, okay? I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much for being here. Please don't forget to like this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.